So give me an example where you would say that it might be quite necessary or apropos to not follow the stage method, not move from...
Easy example. Began to do a mediation with a divorce mediation with two parties who had been separated for some time. They had not been in each other's presence for 18 months. And I began to do an introduction, to talk a little bit about... Now, I had already spoken with each of them by phone. I had sent them some written materials, tried to answer some of their questions about mediation before they even got there. But in my introduction, I say, well, let me just reaffirm a couple of things about who I am, what I do, what I think I do, and to make sure that this is going to work for you. And made sure that they understood the terms of the agreement to mediate and got that signed. And was continuing to do a little bit of conversation with them. And I noticed that they weren't paying any attention to me. I'd been going on for 3 or 4 minutes, and both of them were looking elsewhere. Right? So I just stopped what I was doing. And I said, you know, I'm not upset, but I'm just noticing that I'm talking and you two are looking out the window. What's going on? And they each said, it is so uncomfortable to be here. I so want to do this. I want to, you know, they each in their own way express this. I want to get this stuff done. I want to get this over. I believe that this is the right thing to do. I believe that we need to be talking about these things. These are our kids. We need to be talking with each other. But this is really hard to sit in the same room when it's been so long. Well, I stopped doing anything about the introduction and said, well, let's talk about that for a bit. About what's going on right now and whether this is going to work to sit in the same room and talk with each other and how to make it work. And we did that. They talked about it. They gradually became more comfortable simply being in that setting and talking with each other. They started talking through me, you know, like as I was the switchboard. And at, you know, in 10 minutes they were talking to each other, with each other. And their conversation went from how hard it is to be together to how important it is to be together to, you know, how are the kids doing and sharing information about the children. And I guess it was probably 45 minutes later that I came back to a couple of things that I wanted to deal with in terms of the introduction. And that only because they were asking me for an opinion about, well, what do you think about this? And I said, well, let me go back to where we were and what I've told you before you came and what's in the agreement to mediate. You know, that yes, I'm a lawyer, but I'm not going to give you advice. And you know, so I was able to sort of pick up on those things that had to do with the introduction, but 45 minutes or an hour all the way into the mediation. Whereas a lot of mediators would say, no, we don't have time right now. I've got to finish my introduction. I've got to go through my checklist and get everything down. Completely disserving the parties.